Hi quilters, I'm Shelley Robson from the Quilted Forest. I know we all need a little motivation so that we can get our quilting projects done. So I want to share with you something that our friend group did last year that was really exciting for us and kept us on our toes and kept us going, motivated all year long to get our quilting projects done. So what we did was we each made a list of 12 projects that we wanted to get done. The projects that we listed could be any type of project, something that we had already started, something that was almost finished, something that we wanted to do but didn't have anything going for it yet. It could be any range of those. So we each picked 12 projects that we wanted to do. Every month, one of the numbers was picked, and that was the project that we had to work on that month. Of course, we would sometimes work ahead, or if we didn't finish a project, we had to, keep working on it till we got it done. But we all had to work on that project, whatever number it was we'd picked on the list. I'm going to show you my list and show you the projects that were on it and what I got accomplished this year. I'm pretty proud of all the things I got done. Some of them were quite old, and it's good to get them off the list. I never have to think about those projects again. I'd like you to give some thought to the kind of projects you would put on a list, because we're going to have a challenge for 2022 to finish 12 projects. I hope you'll pick your oldest projects or the ones you want to get rid of the most, but think about the projects you would like to put on a list, because we're going to get something going for 2022. Kind of motivate everybody, get everybody working hard, and get some projects done. So here's my list. I put on there 12 things that I had been wanting to work on for a very long time, and it was time to get them done. So January turned out to be project number 8, which was my Tumblr quilt. I think I started this in 2008 or 2009. I had pre-cut all these fabrics to demonstrate how to use the AccuCut Go, and now it was time to get it done, out of the bag, put together, done. February turned out to be project number 5, which was a barn sampler quilt that I started in 1999. In case you're wondering what happened in 1999, I had a baby, so this got stuck in a bag and put away. Now, 22 years later, it's done. I had about 8 of the blocks made and all of the fabric tucked away for this, so it was kind of nice to get that bag cleared out. March was project number 6, which was my knitting poncho made with fabric, and I had started this one back in 2005, and now it's done. April turned out to be project number 11, which was my black and brown stack and wet quilt that I had started. I had the hexagons made, but I had fabric picked out that I was going to put it with, but I wasn't sure how I wanted to finish it, so that was one of the things I had to do, was figure out which fabrics go where, and then put it together and put the borders on it and quilt it. May was project number 7, which I had listed as clothes in zippered bag, and I had picked these out because I'd wanted to make them. There were 5 different projects I wanted to make, 5 different patterns. I'd had the fabric pre-washed, everything was ready to go, and I just hadn't taken the time to cut it out and sew it together. So this was my time, this was my opportunity, and all 5 projects are finished. June turned out to be project number 1, which was a project I had started in 2001. It was the Fonz and Porter Stars and Stripes sampler, and I had all the kits ready to go. I just needed to take them out of the bag and do them. And it was really fun to make, and I can't wait to give it away to somebody. July was supposed to be project number 3, my Hogwarts Cake, but I needed to finish off a different project. I took apart an antique quilt that was kind of poorly made and put it back together into a new quilt, adding in some new fabrics, and made it a whole different design. So that's what I wanted to work on and finish. And the leftover pieces I used for the backing. So I was really glad to get this project off my list and finished. For August, it was time to do project number 9, which I had listed as Halloween panel items. So these were actually panels, and I think I bought them in 1995, back when my boys were little, before my daughter was even born. So I think it's time they were done. In September, I was supposed to work on project number 10, which I had written as 2 professional totes that I'd already started. But instead, I got out a project from 1997, which was a round robin quilt. I made the center block, which was the arc, and then everyone made animals that went with it, and we all worked on each other's blocks. And it was a lot of fun to make. I am so glad I finally pulled this out and got it finished. And with all the leftover fabric that I had, I decided to piece the back so no fabrics would go to waste and anything left over would be gone. I'm so glad that when I made this quilt, I had the foresight to make the label at the same time so I could get signatures from everybody who made blocks. This is a one-of-a-kind keeper. October was project number 4, which I had written as Blended Sampler, and I am still working on that, but I think that one's a multi-year project. So instead, I worked on this project that had half square triangles in it, and these were all leftovers from demoing Thangles when I would go to shows, and I had just been keeping them in a bag, and I had to come up with a design, and this is what I came up with. The November project was project number 2, which was my blocks from my quilt sampler party back in 2012 when our shop made the top 10 quilt sampler. During our celebration party, I had everyone sign squares of fabric, and then I tucked them away and promptly lost them. So when I found them last year, I decided it was time to get something done with them. I combined them with leftover half square triangles from other projects and from demoing Thangles, and made blocks for each of the squares, and then added sashing and cornerstones to make a full-size project. December's project, coincidentally, was project number 12, which I had written as my apple core quilt, and this one I think I had cut out in 2010. It had been in a bag for a long time, and all I needed to do was all cut out. All I needed to do was sew it together and put the rows together, quilt it, and it was done. So that was a lot of fun to work on. Throughout the year, our friend group would get together and sew, and that way we could encourage each other, see how our progress is going, and just have some fun together. That's what made this whole thing more fun, was the fact that we were all doing it together. Thanks for watching, and get ready to make your list because we're going to challenge you in 2022.